Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Artsy Nim. So as you all know, today we are going to paint Northern Lights and I hope you like it. So just put your canvas or your board on your tabletop and now we are going to use some acrylic paints. So the first acrylic paint that I'm using here is known as Ultramarine and the second paint that I'm putting right now is known as Purple Violet, and I'm using acrylic paints from Faber Castle in case anyone is wondering, and I can put the link into the description from where I got them. And the third shade that I've put here is Permanent Carmine, and now I'm using this amazing brush by Twizzle, which is known as the glazed shape, I think. And this works so wonderfully. This brush was so magnificent and it just spread the color so evenly and so beautifully on my canvas board, like right here you can see in my video. And so yeah, just paint with me for now and enjoy this process. Also, do you notice how these acrylic paints are just shining under the sunlight? So the acrylic paints that I have got, and I think most of the acrylic paints, they do shine. And they have this shining element to them, and that's why they are just all very glittery and sparkly right now. Hey, so I did go off camera to paint this little house, and I used this little detailed brush to paint it with the help of a gray paint. But you can also pause the video right now and use a pencil as per your convenience and draw this cute little house. And now we are going to paint it, and the first color that I'm going to use is called emerald green, and I'm going to paint the front of the house with it. Basically, I just love using a lot of colors in my paintings. I don't know, but like I'm really not the minimalist type when it comes to painting or drawing, and I'm always trying to incorporate all kinds of colors that I can. And that's why, even now you can see these four colors right now in my painting, and by the end of it, you'll probably see more, and I'll possibly have covered every paint known to my palette. And yeah, the front of the house is about to get completed now. Please carefully paint the house and leave the color, you know in between the lines, right? Don't paint beyond the lines because you don't want to have to fix the colors again and again, especially for the doors and the windows. And the second color that I'm going to use now for the back of the house is the shade, I think it is, yeah, cobalt green. So for the back of the house I'm using a darker green because even though it won't seem like much right now, but the front of the house is kind of facing outwards, and the back of the house is more supposed to be in the dark side. So that's why I've used these two contrasting colors. So now we are going to color the rest of the house, and the shade that I've picked up now is known as the Van Brown, and I'm covering the chimney with it. And I'm taking some more to basically paint the bottom of the stairs. And now we are going to paint the fence or the railing of the house with the help of the same color. The shade that I'm holding right now is called India Red, and we are going to paint the rooftop of a house with the help of this color. I'm also going to use this color to paint the top surface of the stairs, and off camera I use the shade called cadmium yellow to paint the doors and the windows of this house. As you can see, I've put a lot of color on the rooftop, but it was to hide the pink in the background so that it doesn't show. And since I've put a lot of it, I'm not going to waste it. And then I decided to color the border of the windows and the door with the help of the same color. One drawback of the acrylic colors is that they do dry out easily, and that's why I'm, having certain difficulty right now to paint the borders with them. But the way to prevent is to keep them wet. So that's something you can do, which I didn't do here. This shade right here is called light blue, and I'm going to use it to paint the mountains. I think I went with the lighter color because I wanted to see what would happen if we use a lighter shade instead of a darker one in the background. Also, the color was very pretty, very bright, and I think bright colors are my weakness, so I did use it. And I'm putting a little amount of it right now because I don't want to repeat the same mistake of putting a lot of color and then wasting it. And now I'm just going to cover this layer with this color, and you do the same. So I did finish coloring my mountains off camera, and then I used the shade cobalt blue to give it some layers, and it was the darker blue that you can see in the video right now, and I'm using it again to show you how to use a very little amount of it and just drag your brush in a certain direction, basically sweep it away to give it a mountain like effect. So anyways, I was doing this little experiment where I used some blue color on the ground. I think I was going for the snow effect, but then I just poured the blue and just brushed it on the canvas, and then I didn't know what to do with it. So then I went for the shade warm gray, and then I just thought that maybe it would help me get some snowing effect. So right now I'll just tell you that you can use the blue color if you want to or not, because I don't think it's going to be even be visible there at the end of this video. So yeah, you can just go for the gray one. Now after the gray, I took a little bit of light blue, and yes, forgive me for the change of the background a little bit, but I was not comfortable on the table anymore, so I just sat on the mat. And you can use the light blue color right now to give it more of a snowy effect later on. So now I took two shades for the northern lights. The first shade is the grass green and the other shade is white. Then I mixed these two shades, and then I got this beautiful color. And now I'm just making layers of it to get that northern light effect. And this is also where you will recognize I am not a professional artist, because I messed it up big time. I did not know how to paint the northern lights. It was my first time as well, and I just poured a lot of color, and these layers were so thick. And yeah, it looks really messy right now. And then when I did this sweeping away the brush thing and taking the color away with it, it did not work, because we are using acrylic paints right now, and as I told you before, they dry out really quickly. So then I decided to get some water, or load the brush with even more color, and then sweep it off on the canvas. But none of my hacks were working, and even though the color to me right now does look pretty on screen, it was really terrible, and it does look really terrible right now. But since we are artists and this is something we are creating and I'm creating, I trusted myself, I trusted the process, and then it's okay. Even if I mess it up, I can do it second time, and that's the beauty of art. You practice and you improve, and that's what I'm going to do in a while and still make this painting work. So now the rescue mission of my painting starts here. What I did is I just took some white color, and then I started dabbing it little by little, point by point on the canvas. And as you can see, I'm following the previous pattern of the northern lights that I painted, and I'm also using the same technique to enhance the effect of the lights even more. And that's what I'm going to advise you to do. if you are also pretty unsatisfied with your painting at this point after watching mine. Also, I think making mistakes while painting just lead to discovering even more ideas of how you can paint a certain thing, because there are many artists around the world and everyone is doing their own version. So even if I did make this mistake, now I'm doing my own revised version of it, and to be honest, it's working out pretty well so far. That's all I can say. So yeah, keep doing it. So now, after continuing the process of fixing the northern lights, I'm going to focus on the snowy effect around the house, where I'm going to use the white color and I'm going to dab it across the rooftop to give it a very melty effect. And yeah, if you want to do that, then you can do that too. And I'll just say that I can't even teach anything right now because I'm myself in the process of learning, and these are all just hit and trials. And we make errors, we make mistakes, but we're just learning along the way, and that's fine. And thank you so much for sticking out with me even this far. And I think you will also be pleased with the end results pretty soon. Since I love to add the maximum number of elements I can to one canvas, I am painting this tree, a coniferous tree, alongside the house with the color black. And yeah, you can follow this process if you would also like to add a tree to your own painting. I also decided to do this little back tree effect against the mountains to add more definition to the painting, and you can follow it if you would like to do the same. And now the real snowy effect starts, and I just took the white color and a little bit of a broader brush, a chiseled brush I think it's called, and then I started dabbing the white color around the house also a little more and on the ground to just bring out that snowy effect that I wanted. So now, by the end of the video, as you can see, the northern lights did not turn out to be so bad. And so I just took the shade again, the permanent carmine, and I swept it across to give it more contrast. So this is the end of the video, guys, and I do hope that you also loved how this painting turned out to be, because I did. So again, thank you for watching. See you next time.